Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where we are currently standing in the Crystarium, because I actually forgot to record something, namely from Ciella here. After finishing Shadowbringers patch 5.3 and returning with the Scions to the Source, there is a continuation of this whole Rolequest finale and all that. So we know Ciella is silver from the visions we had of a Warriors of Darkness, or the Warriors of Light of the First. And she originally comes from the 13th. Just so to recount. So, but something else is going on. Safekeeping. If it isn't Desiree, loitering about the stairs like any old evening. And I was worried that you'd gone back to your world for good, and I was too late. It's just what I've been thinking about the crystals belonging to the Warriors of Light. I hear they ended up with you after you Lord defeated the Virtues. I assume you have artbirds as well? I gave him to Seto. Indeed, that does seem appropriate. His bond with Seto is deep and enduring. As for the others, I had hoped you might be persuaded to leave them in my care. It was only right that they, like Artbird, should accompany you on your journey to set this world back to its proper course. Yet you now have a home you must return to, but the first is theirs. After all they did to keep it safe, they deserve to be here to see what its future holds. Oh, don't make that face. I know it's a big decision, but it needn't fall entirely to you. There are others here who care for the Warriors of Light as much as you do, aren't there? Rolequest people. Giot. Now that's a damn fine ale. How many should I order for you? I know you ain't much of a drinker, so 6? 7? Just a question for you. What? You want help deciding the fate of Lamit's crystal and the others too? Does this place have any bigger tankards? Well, if you insist, Luik owes me a drinks, plural, so make sure he joins us. Maybe find Granson while I'm at it. You go on and wait for Seric and Tana. Order around while I'm out, you hear? Giot seems excited. Should I be concerned? Good to see you, Desiree. What did you say that has Giot so worked up? The crystals, huh? That does sound like a conversation worth getting everyone together for. Did Luik really promise to pay for Giot's drinks? That's a disaster in the making. Not just hers, rounds for the lots of us. Might be that Light just has a few things to learn about coin, the scarcity thereof. Still, I'll not turn down his generosity. Go and tell the barkeep we'll be needing food and ale for the table. Fine, but try to exercise some restraint. I'll not carry you back to the room again. Here we are. How much of a head start did you get? Should I ask him to bring out a cask? I reckon we should hear Desiree out first. So you're telling me that barmaid was one of Nilbert's companions, not to mention the Shadow Keeper and from a different world? That's laying it on a bit thick. certainly raises questions. Quite. Such as how she retains her youthful visage. Not that. I had my suspicions about her. The other night I was at the counter, quaffing my ale, having a grand time, and next I realized I'm outside without a guild to my name. And it ain't the first time. It could only be the power of a Shadow Keeper. Not that you drink enough to fill a small army. If Desiree says it's true, I'm inclined to believe it. Which leaves us with a matter of entrusting the crystals to her. She's right, but this is Brandon's home. The others too. And it's home to their most important memories. Not all of them good, maybe, but everyone they loved is laid to rest here. I agree. Nearbird belongs here. Artbird's crystal is with Seto in this world. Lamed would want to be near. Went away as well, I think. She'd want to be with her friends in the place that she loved. It seems we all agree. A toast then, to the warriors of light! Drink up, I'm paying, and as bounty hunters I expect you all to take proper advantage of it. I hate to disappoint, but I'm not much for alcohol. This juice looks nice though. That's not... Taina's not happy. Right out. Can't handle alcohol at all. How did you manage this? Twice the mess in half the time as normal patrons, I swear. I overheard your conversation, by the way. Do you agree with your friends? These crystals are yours, Story Keeper. The legacies are safe with me, you have my word. Thank you. I can feel them. The memories. Why? Why, damn it? You're all just like Artbird. I betrayed you. I manipulated you and still... You thought of me as a comrade, a friend, until the very end. I did warn you. My head. A week's worth of earnings. How is this possible? This is why I don't drink. Can't remember last time I was so drunk, or any of the other times neither, but that ain't important. A successful rousing calls for a celebratory ale. We finally managed to clean up after you lot, for the most part. Perhaps next time we should set down a tarpaulin. Nevertheless, I'm grateful to you for entrusting these to me, and so long as I live, I will never stop sharing the true tale of the Warriors of Light. Of my friends. A new chapter added to the New Game Plus. But that's not all from Ciella. A hero's journey. Seeing a lot of you together like that, it reminds me of the old days. Artbert and the rest, drinking and bickering and laughing. Drove each other half mad at times, but there was never any question of who'd be there when times got tough. Can't help but wonder, can I? If I had companions like that back home, could it have been saved? I'm not the only one who tried, though each of us stood alone. There was Unukalhai. But unpronounceable name sounds familiar. We've met. He was working with a Lidibus at the time. Yes, he too was one would-be savior of a 13, and was spared his fated demise by Asian devices. We spoke once after the destruction of our world. If the others could be saved, we thought, we yet had parts to play. What he's up to now with the Lidibus is gone, though, I have no idea. Has he found himself a new role, as I have? Or does he feel as adrift as we were back then? If you encounter him in the Source, I ask that you help him find the way forward, just as you have helped all of us here. Speak with Unukalhai in the Rising Stones. Now, to unlock this particular quest, you need to have finished all the quests Unukalhai offers you. That means you have to finish the Warring Triad, you have to beaten Ravana and Bismarck Extreme, because you need to do so to turn the quests in, and you need to have unlocked the Extremes for the Warring Triad. But there you don't need to defeat them, you just need to unlock it to turn in the quest. And of course you have to have seen the previous scene where our friends just drunk themselves under the table. Unukalhai. Well met this way. What brings you here today? News from Silver. Urianger apprised me of your travels in the First, and of what became of Elidibus at long last. But I was not aware that you were working with Silver. I consider her a comrade of sorts, though our time together was short. Looking upon the twisted remains of a world you tried to save creates a bond that few can understand. At that time we spoke of what we could hope to achieve with our newfound immortality, and of our regrets. Though I then believed what had happened to be the natural result of my age and inexperience, I now think this was merely the least painful explanation I could offer myself. Silver's right. We ought to have sought each other out before it was too late. I would not make the same mistake again. With a Warring Triad gone, I'm indeed in need of a new purpose. But to seek it alone is folly. I should like to speak with Silver, assuming such a thing is possible. As I mentioned, she understands how I feel more than any other. Of course, all I require is your soul. You speak of a spirit vessel, correct? The means by which science returned to the source. If I understand those principles at work correctly, then it was a near miracle that you succeeded in bringing them back without killing them. If Elidibus is to be believed, however, my current state makes me something of an exception in matters of life and death. In which case, there is not to be lost from making the attempt. Please, say you'll help. We need an expert in spirit vessels. Pray forgive the delay. Thou wouldst seek my counsel. I, the gifts granted young Unukalhai by Hydaelyn and the Astians, may prove a boon in easing the transition. However, I know not to what extent nor what might befall thy spirit should be lost betwixt worlds. Nevertheless, I know this is my path forward. Please, Oyanje. Very well. If thou believest that thou shalt find new purpose in the first, I will do all my power to see thee safely there. We shall be but a few moments. Maybe a worthy tome might keep thee occupied while I perform the necessary magics. Decent spot. And let's assume we're reading up about the Warring Triad again. "'Tis done. Pray guard his vessel well." Unukalhai is his eye in the science were on the first. A soul were form, yet not true body. Thus, it was a simple matter to transfer him to the vessel using the self-same process as before. To withdraw his essence once across the rift, or to prove similarly straightforward. However, I fear that such an existence cannot sustain itself indefinitely. Look to the Astians' example. The persistent use of flesh and blood vessels surely have cause. Be it danger akin to that which would have befallen us had we not returned to the source, I know not. But the time may come that the boy requires a full corporeal form. Should it come to pass, I trust you shall come to his aid. For the moment, however, thou needst only convey the spirit vessel to Beglak. Farewell, both of you. Back to the Crystarium. Back again, are you? I'm flattered that you have grown so fond of Northrend, or I would be, but you have that expression you don't always wear when you're about to ask me of something. For something. A spirit vessel, could you let the spirit out? Best not tell anyone about this, lest you suddenly find yourself everyone's first choice in interworld ferry services. You did what? After all the perils your friends faced and the labors we undertook to return them to your world, you brought another soul across the rift? Have you no common sense? Nope. Clearly. Nevertheless, for my own peace of mind, I'll assume you have a compelling reason for this. Removing spirit from vessel will be easy enough, I suppose. However, it requires a few moments without your breathing down my neck. Also, your friend is unlikely to materialize with clothes on, so I doubt they want an audience. You should wait here. Perhaps take the opportunity for some self-reflection. Oh, very well. At least I tried. We'll find you at the Wandering Stairs directly then. You want me to speak with someone? Very well. You've done the same at my request often enough. How long are we meant to wait for this friend of yours? I do have work to do, you know. Ah, here you are. Pardon the delay. It took some time to acquire robes of an appropriate size. Is this them? Silver. What? Unukalhai? Indeed, it's I. Trust me, I can hardly believe that I'm here myself. I should think so. When I sent Desiree to ask after you, it never occurred to me that you might be able to cross the rift without asking aid. No mysterious mask? My choices and my reasons are my own now. If I am to have faith in them, in myself, I cannot hide who I am. Speaking of which, Unukalhai was kind enough to fill me in, and like some, I was interested to hear of an erstwhile hero of a 13th serving libations at the Wandering Stairs. But that this hero should be you surpasses the scope of even my considerable imaginings. Was that you at Grünes Licht so long ago? Not so long for me, or you mayhap. Though I had thought I might at last put those days behind me. But perhaps it's for the best. They're not all bad memories. They never are. I should very much like to hear your story, should you be willing to share it. Our world, like this one, had its share of would-be heroes, myself and Unukalhai among them. Unlike your warriors of light, however, each was unaware or unconcerned with our fellows. But to fight alone is to fall alone, and the insidious aether of the aura side used to seal primals corrupted one's noble souls and turned them, one by one, to darkness. Even those who resisted this fate could not escape its consequences. No surprise perhaps, as we continued to struggle in solitude. We were spared by Ascian machinations, but only as our world met its death. But if what death could be undone, I was told much of the first was consumed by light as our home was by darkness, yet balance and life are being restored to even that scoured land they call the empty. If such a thing is possible, then why not the reverse? Could we not bring light back to the 13th? Even the Ascians consider the 13th lost, but was excluded from rejoining. But what say you? You have a way of making miracles happen? Anything is possible. That doesn't mean it's easy. That doesn't sound like an empty platitude coming from you. It was the same with Artbird. Pardon me interruption, but might I suggest a closer examination of conditions on the 13th before we form any conclusions? We could use a crystal tower to open a void gate, couldn't we? Please? No. How would we go about that safely? According to the records, there was a group who worked out how to open small void gates, through which to summon minor fell beasts and the like. Magic of that nature should work, though I'm unsure if any of the knowledge of the original technique yet live. Right over there. How fortunate! Let us inquire with his Tainer immediately. Yes, you do that. In the meantime, I will ready a means for peering into the depths of the void without endangering ourselves. Use these to contact me when you are prepared to open the gate. We shall. At the very first opportunity, I promise. He really is an age today. Not that it should surprise me of all people, but he's a child. And you expect children to grow up. What a fascinating place to spend one's days. I should love to hear more about the patrons that have passed through. It's a pleasure as always, Desiree. Aye, but who's your friend? I don't believe we've met. We have not, as I'm not from this world. The situation is rather complicated, but I hope you might be willing to assist me. It's true, we had the means to open such portals. We called them hollows, and it was through one of these that I was drawn into the rift. So it's possible. Not with my power alone. I understand the greatness of your deed, and when Neilbird's still at my side, I should be glad to make the attempt, but the technique requires the combined forces of our energies in resonance. If one person's magic are insufficient, perhaps I could assist? From what I can sense, our ethereal reserves are roughly equivalent, and our physical similarities suggest that our energies are not incompatible. I fear you underestimated the difficulty of the task. Neilbird and I were born for this, and even so, it took us years before our efforts were perfectly in step. I realize this is a lot to ask considering we just met, but could we not at least attempt it? Yours is the only such magic I've ever heard of, and if you might actually be able to save my home? May I interject? You will recall that the crystals in my possession preserve the memories of the former warriors of light, including Neilbirds in ethereal form. And Unukalhai has a particular talent for interpreting the minds and motives of ethereal beings, the primals. If I could apply the same principles to interpret Neilbird's crystal, an experiment worth trying at the very least, I'll fetch it. Speak to me, Neilbird. Do his memories of training with Taina remain? They do, and such strong sentiment with them. Taina, you should know that Neilbird desired nothing so much as to rescue you, his dearest friend. Yet so fiercely to his memories of a technique you mastered together, because he hoped they might be your salvation. Oh, Neilbird, I won't let them go to waste. I will do what I can to help see the 13th restored. Thank you. I won't pretend I understand half of what's going on here. Just keep him from running headlong into anything too dangerous, will you? Count on me. Nothing to worry about so long as you're around, I'm sure. Wicked White, I nearly forgot. I've half a dozen orders to fill. You know where to find me when you made the progress of the gate. But Unukalhai could stand to slow down a bit, but who hasn't been a touch reckless in pursuit of a good cause? Try to make sure he stays in one piece, huh? One step closer. If you have no objections, Taina, I would like to practice creating hollows as soon as possible. Of course, but not within the crystarium. If we succeeded in opening even the smallest window into that realm, it's likely that fell creatures will emerge. Follow me. Just outside town. There you are. Please, Athena, we can begin. Assuming no one ventures near this location should be suitable, Unukalhai, when I give a word, begin channeling your ether. Nearby's memories will have told you as much, but it's imperative that you maintain focus on our ethereal resonance throughout this process. With that in mind, Desiree, I ask you to take care of any creatures that emerge from the hollow. They should not be of a strength to challenge you, and will allow us to adjust our attunement without risk. Count on me. Then let us begin. Voices all over the place today. Come on, flow where I tell you to. Let me attempt to match your focus. It opened. It's small, but enough to let something through. Be ready, Desiree. A void torch. It's been quite a while since I opened a gate between worlds like this, but there's some things you never forget, aren't there? That was far too much effort for such a small gate. On the contrary, given that this was your first attempt, it's incredible that you succeeded at all. Now, try synchronizing your breath with mine. Focus on the rhythm of the ethereal flow. Alright, I'm ready. Begin. A larger hollow. Of course, the void sin may be appropriately stronger. Where your breath ends, mine begins. Where your ether flows, mine follows. Together. Unbelievable, full attunement so soon. Be ready, Desiree. Like talking to an old friend. Yes, that's what it's like. I think I grasped the principle now. I don't need to remember the feeling for the next time. I almost feel as if I do remember it. Your effort is familiar somehow, but that's impossible, of course. Now, I had theories that suggested that Unukalhai is another shard of Neilbert or of Tainer himself, so that these two are the same person, maybe. But that is why it's for them so easy to attune with each other. A bounty of hunters. Now that Tainer and I are capable of performing the necessary magics, I should like to make an attempt at investigating conditions on the 13th. Might I trouble you to contact Black Luck? Desiree, are you there? I hope you've not lost focus on the void problem. I have an exciting breakthrough to share. A work of proxy-related genius, if I do say so myself. Black Luck, excellent timing. We've made considerable progress as well, and are ready to open a portal when you are. Well then, what say you meet me at Luxon Loft forthwith? It's far enough from any major aeroites as to avoid the sort of ethereal interference that would be a hindrance to our observation of a void. Very well, we'll see you at this Luxon Loft anon, or as soon as I can locate it. I lead the way. I too am eager to be one step nearer to our goal. You don't mind if I think of it as our goal, do you? I would be honored. Thank you, Tainer. I can still scarce believe how quickly we progressed. It's almost as if we've been friends all along. It appears Black Luck has yet to arrive. Patience, Unukalhai. I hope you weren't waiting too long. What? You didn't think I'd want to see this for myself? The 13th was my home too, if you recall. Quite. Though, as I explained, we won't be the ones doing the seeing. Strictly speaking, this familiar will gather all the information we need, assuming you two can create a hollow for it to pass through. That will do nicely. Now fly, my Poxy, fly! Well, it's made it in. And something's coming out. My, what an ugly one, isn't it? Due to a weather change right now, that was sudden shift. As I expected, these creatures hardly pose a challenge to you. Maybe don't tell Sarek about how large and horrifying that one was, though. We've already come further than I dared hope. I'm truly fortunate to have found Taina. Those two have really taken to each other, haven't they? I suppose we're of a similar age, in some ways at any rate. Thank you for clearing that up. The Porksy ought to be back any moment now, though I can't sense it. Odd. Perhaps it's lost? If Decibel created an inferior beacon as she did for me, it might find its way back more easily. May work. Give it a go. We also might lure in some additional void sand. Keep at it. Ah, a distinctive Porksy-like presence. I see the snout. There we are. Now close the hollow before anything follows. I believe it has performed its task thoroughly, as instructed. Good Porksy. With luck, its observations may indeed lead us to a means of driving the darkness from the 13th. However, I will need to review its findings in detail before I can tell you more, and it could take years to deduce a suitable solution. I admit that I am impatient to find a way forward, but I have endured millennia with half as much hope as I have now. If I must wait, then that is what I shall do. Like Desiree and your warriors of light, I will persevere until my world is safe once more. That is what a hero does. I think you'd make a good one. You as well? If that's the end of the excitement for the time being, we should head back to the wandering stairs. Clear out that pall of anxiety Zarek is spreading all over the place. We are back, and our experiment was a success. No one got hurt. You've returned hale and whole. Not that I had any doubt you would, of course. And how did your search of a hollow go? We may have the information we need to save the 13th. It may be some time, years maybe, until we can be certain, but I will be here for as long as it takes. On that subject, I've been thinking. Would you be interested in joining us? As a bounty hunter, I mean? Sarah and I hunt down sin eaters and other threats. The first was safe, but it remains far from safe. You could help us protect the people here. I think I would quite like that. Protecting people. If I can do that, then perhaps I will find the strength I need when the time comes. Strength, you say? Sounds like I could use a dwarf with a massive hammer. Geode. And everyone else. I may have shared a tale of a 13 with a few other noted hunters. I know it feels like to fight for something you've already lost. To need to find a way to make it right. And I know it's not easy to fight on your own. Inconvenient as that little truth may be. But a new team is born! This calls for a toast! I don't object, so long as this lot carries their weight. I'm a bounty hunter, not a Fuka hoarder. Thank you so much, all of you. I would be honored to fight at your side. I shall do my best to justify the faith you've shown in me, and to save my home. Someday, I hope we can visit it together. Alright, and with that, we are really finished with the Rolequest of Shadowbringers. And Unukalhai now remains here with Silver, or Ciella. Good, but that shall be it for this episode. Until next time, when we play more Final Fantasy XIV, I'm Mace, and don't get lost.